Good morning. Welcome to Friday Night Live, a special Saturday morning edition. I am the pet man, Matt Morrow. Typically, Friday Night Live is your show where if it's something you want to talk about, feel free to comment and we'll talk about it. We are sponsored by Craig Fail, the owner of Blackbridge Financial in the Palisades. Blackbridge Financial specializes in wealth management services. Reach out to Craig and he will help you manage your money and gain a lot more wealth, which is what we all need in 2025. All right. Obviously, we did not do Friday Night Live last night. We had some different things going on. Did not attend the game last night. I'll get into that maybe on this show, maybe on the regular shows next week. Um, Mainly because there was a chance that media were not allowed in to some of these CMS games with, I guess, restricted attendance, but I'm not going to start on that because I'm going to get really upset. But I'm going to do this a little differently because as the stream goes out, we're, obviously at a different time and a different day. So I'm going to run through the scores because I honestly haven't seen many scores. And then we'll go to the comments. And then, because it was just released, we'll talk about the Queen City Senior Bowl roster release. So that's a little different than we normally do on Friday Night Live. So I'm sure some of the comments will be about that. I've gotten a lot of messages that I haven't had a chance to look at just yet. So if you're watching, feel free to comment and we can talk about it. All right. So looks like North Rowan knocked off Thomas Jefferson 58-0 last night. Palisades big over Valentine Ridge 54-14. Country Day bounces back from their loss last week and defeats Metro 37-0. Independence with a big win. Impressive 41-6 over Chambers. We'll talk about that next week on Football Focus Weekly. J.M. Robinson continues to roll big over South Moran 42-0. Lake Norman big on South Iredale 38-12. Argykill 35, Rocky River 7. Huff big over Garinger 66-0. Albemarle over Body Cone 41-14. Providence Day huge over Christ School 71-0. Good gracious. Entertaining game. Porter Ridge 23, Marvin Ridge 21. Paris Lytle on Twitter with the great updates on that one. Davie County gives Statesville their second loss on the year, 22-7. Mooresville big over North Iredale, 49-7. Monroe over West Stanley, 56-7. Our guys at Mountain Island, Coach Doug getting it done again, 28-27 over Union Academy. Christ the King, 14-7 over Lake Norman Charter. Interesting one right here. Sun Valley, really good win, 21-0 on the road at Charlotte Catholic. That does not happen very often. Big win for Sun Valley. Butler shuts out North Meck 28-0. South Stanley all over North Stanley 40-0. And that's a big win because I believe North Stanley was undefeated. We need to check to see if that score is right. Check and see if that score is right because that's impressive right there. Wow. A.L. Brown over Central Cabarrus 39-21. Covenant Day over South Lake 44-29. Hickory Ridge in a comeback victory over Cox Mill 23-20. Hickory over West Iredale 44-8. Mount Pleasant continues to play well, 26-14 over Anson County. Raven Gap over Charlotte Christian 41-28. Good game there. Northwest Cabarrus over Salisbury 44-14. Community School Davidson over Lincoln Charter 49-7. Good win. Myers Park all over Hopewell 63-8. Hickory Grove over Mount Zion Christian 37-28. Olympic remains in first place. Big win 2017 over West Cabarrus. Harding wins the Battle at Allegheny 16-7 over Berry. Concord over Carson 20-7. Good win. Latin, this was the game our guy Shaquan was at last night. 38-17 over Cannon School. Latin remaining undefeated. Weddington over Cupperson 34-7. Barn Burner in Rowan County. West Rowan 35, East Rowan 33. Wow, what a game. RS Central over East Burke 27-14, and we're getting some of these outer area scores here. Cherryville with a nice win over East Gaston 21-14. Crest all over Hunter Huss 62-7. Let's see. East Lincoln over Fred T4 42-7. Stuart Kramer bounced back with a tough loss to Burns last week. Big win over West Lincoln 21-0. Bandies over North Lincoln 47-23. Big one here. Highland Tech getting the win over Bessemer City 15-12. Congrats to Highland Tech, man. Great stuff right there. Lincolnton over Shelby and a barn burner of a game, 35-34 overtime victory for Lincolnton in that one. Ashbrook, game of the week, all over Kings Mountain. The message has been delivered, 43-7. Wow, Ashbrook is real. And then some more scores kind of out of our area there. South Point all over North Gaston, 53-0. And yeah, that'll take us off the ticker there. All right, let's go to your comments and see what we got. We got 7 in the bucket. Clover Guy still first on a Saturday morning. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Amani Bird, he enjoyed the bye week. On a bye, man. The heck? Watch Northwestern Fort Mill. Northwestern won 56-40. Yeah, Fort Mill is much improved this year, and they are doing some good stuff, man. I'm glad you enjoyed your bye. And they got Indian Land. Yeah, Indian Land is good. Yeah, they are good. Yeah, that'll be a good one. Let's see. Coach Tatum. Yeah, what's up, man? Yeah, man, I can't compete with College Game Day, but I'm glad that we're an option. That's why we're not typically on Saturday morning, but appreciate you as always, man. Good morning, Karen. Good to see you as always. J-Man, 159 yards, career high on 5 carries. Wow. 31.8 yards per carry. That's pretty solid. We're going to talk about J-Man here more in just a second for sure. Let's see. Kim Cotton. Good morning, Kim. Yeah, I saw the highlights. The 5 minutes of high school football I saw last night. I did see your son making some nice plays. If you guys don't know, KD Cotton at Weddington now is Miss Kim's son, and he looked really good. He looked really good, and he fits in very well with that team. And, that just elevates Weddington even more as a state title contender. So we're all glad that he's back. And I'm glad that, you guys can kind of get back to, what you like and, being normal on Friday nights instead of all the questions about everything that's going on. Now you can just go play football and you can enjoy your son's, last high school games before he goes off, to play college football. So appreciate that, Kim. Thanks for watching, as always. Chris Worst, the talented linebacker at Stuart Kramer. Yeah, I saw you guys had a shutout against West Lincoln. They run the heck out of the football, man. And that's good. That's good. I'm glad you guys bounced back. That's strong stuff. We're gonna talk about you here in just a second also. So stay tuned. Nick, good morning. Good to see you, man. Luke Zabo, always around. Thanks for watching, man. Yeah, that was good. That was really impressive. Yeah, you're welcome, Kim. Yeah, we appreciate you. We appreciate you watching and all the things that you bring to the show. So absolutely good stuff. All right. Well, because we didn't do a game, and I'll tell you why real quick. So we were going to go to the Battle Allegheny, Harding and Berry. It was at Harding. So they had I guess alert when you go on GoFan. And the only reason why I went on GoFan was because someone asked me about tickets, and I was going to look and see if they still had tickets. So when you go on GoFan.com to buy the tickets, there's a big alert that says NCHSAA media passes may not be accepted. So to me and to producer who I was talking to about this, why would we go, to Harding? And granted, we could probably get in, because obviously we have relationships. But why would we go there, on the chance that we may not get in with our media passes? So we just elected not to go. Um, and honestly, it's a bit of a protest against what decisions these people are making against media, which I have no idea. I have not seen a situation anywhere involving a media member where it's caused an issue. If something has happened, I'm not aware of it, and the media guys that I know very well are not aware of it either. Um, Full disclosure, this year it's been really difficult for some reason to get into games with media passes, and it's almost like we're seen as an enemy to some schools. Some schools welcome us, typically outside of the Charlotte area, but there are some schools that really just seem like they don't want to deal with it or whatever. And you know, honestly, those kind of places, once I find that out, I don't go back. There are some schools that I'm just not ever going to go back to. I'll never say them, but if you ever wonder why you don't see coverage from a certain school from us, that's probably why. And I don't get it. I don't get it. All the stuff we do on Friday nights is free. Like all the highlights, all the pictures, all that stuff. No one ever pays for any of that. So I don't get it. I mean, it's probably a blanket thing with media because I know there are some young people that charge players for photography and stuff like that. But even then, it's kind of like still we're not adding to any craziness of the environment or anything like that. So I'm gonna go where I got this saying from someone very wise a long time ago, and they said to go where you're appreciated. So that's where we're gonna go. I try to reach out to the AD or the head coach of the school that we're going to on every Friday, and I always ask, is there something special we need to do from a media perspective? And if there is, then we do it. And then if we don't, if they say don't, there's nothing we have to do, then we don't. But sometimes we get to the games and it's a whole political process. And I really don't know why. I really don't get it, man. I've calmed down a lot about it. But yeah, I'm not the only one that can attest to that. There's several media guys that do a great job that will say the same thing this year, and I don't get it. I really don't get it. All right, let's go back to the comments before we go to the Queen City Senior Bowl roster. Let's see, John Henry Stewart, tough one on Allegheny Street last night. The Rams pulled it off in the last 3 minutes. Yeah, I saw what you posted on Facebook, man. That's great. That's great. We would have liked to have been there to see it, but Harding defeats Berry 16-7, and the trophy's on the right side of Allegheny. So yeah, it's good stuff. Let's see here. Let's see. J.R. Mabes got Watauga 56, South Caldwell 0. Watauga led 49-0, I believe, at halftime. Yeah, Watauga's a machine, man. I saw they defeated Freedom pretty easily a couple of weeks ago. That was a big game on the western side of the state. So, Watauga's still the best team west of, what's a good mark? 321? Well, maybe. 321 runs through Hickory, so it's close to there. I'd say west of Hickory, that's probably the best team in the state in that area. So, yeah. That's good stuff, man. They are always very well coached, and they have some guys that can do some things. Evan Burrows being one of them. He's one of my favorite players from Watauga. Let's see, Luke Zabo. Yeah, man. I appreciate that, but I don't know. And it's not about me, and I'm speaking for all the media who don't have the same platform that we do. It's been very frustrating at times. Some schools are great. Some schools, I don't get it. I don't get it. Because all we're trying to do is promote what these young men are doing on Friday nights. That's all we're trying to do. And you know, if we're not welcome, then we ain't gonna come. It's that simple. It's that simple, man. Well, thank you, Jay, man. You guys are on my list, actually. You guys are on the list. John's asking, where will we be next week? Well, I had said that Huff and South Meck was my game next week, but CMS is on this limited stuff for everybody. So I don't know. I'm looking at the schedule real quick and seeing what we got. Cooper Peterson's inviting us to come check out Corvian and Community School of Davidson. I got a message that I haven't responded to yet from somebody at Community School of Davidson inviting us up there too. So I guess that's a possibility. Let's see. Porter Ridge and Weddington is playing. This should be a good game. Nick Rankin says we're welcome at Palisades. And they have a big game. They're playing Providence, and that's a game for first place in the conference. So that's probably on the list as an option. What other games do we got here? Undefeated Latin and Providence Day, both 7-0. That's at Providence Day. That's an option. I'm just going through the big games this week. West Rowan at J.M. Robinson. I know I'm welcome there. I seem like I'm there multiple times a year now. What else we got? Northwest Cabarrus hosting Concord. Mallard Creek at Independence. We got a lot of options here. Hickory, East Lincoln. That's a heck of a game right there. So yeah, Kings Mountain, South Point. A lot of good games next week. Lincolnton, Stuart Kramer should be interesting. Wow, we're gonna have some fun shows next week. There's some good games to talk about. It's my first time looking at the schedule, so okay, good stuff. Let's see here. Thank you, Karen, for that update on Dallas Brandon. Yeah, he's playing really good football right now. Coach Tatum says, I'm welcome at Walkertown. I owe you a visit. I owe you a dang on visit, man. I got to see when y'all play at home. It might have to be in the playoffs, but I do owe you a visit. We got players requested. I love it. Yeah, I mentioned Stuart Kramer, Lincolnton, Mount Pleasant, Parkwood. Luke Zaba wants me to come to Robinson West. Back in the day, we used to do a thing for JV football game of the week, and it ended up getting huge, and it started to wane a little bit, I think, because there's just so many people taking pictures and stuff like that. But before it got started, before all these people started taking pictures, I used to run a JV Game of the Week poll on Instagram, and it would just go crazy. I mean, we're talking like 500 and 600 comments a week on where the JV Game of the Week was going to be. And that was a fun time. That was before I got promoted and have to do all this stuff now. Oh, man. West Charlotte Butler. Yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah, Butler's got that run game going. Yeah, absolutely. I'll shout out Indy Mallard Creek. That's one we'll talk about on the big show next Wednesday. Let's see here. Joe Hughes, what's up, Joe? Says Ashbrook averaged 9 yards a carry versus Kings Mountain. Good gracious. That is impressive. Man, that's almost a first down every time you run the ball. That's wow. Offensive line, man. Shout out to offensive line for the Green Wave. Let's see. Kerry Hammond says 2 weeks might want to check out Chris versus Ashbrook. Yeah. We were there last year. We came down to Crest last year and saw that game. So that could be an option for us, for sure. Um, we know we're good at Ashbrook. I actually did when I used to be famous. I did a TV story from Ashbrook, and Coach Darius James was very accommodating with setting that up and opening up the stadium for. Oh gosh, what was that? Was that Queen City News? I think it was Queen City News or Fox News. One of them. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, that's definitely on the list. Chat administrator wants to give a shout out to North Iredale running back Pete Jackson. Yeah, he's a talented kid, man. He's a talented kid for sure. Tell you, man. Saturday morning is a little different. Let's see. Mooresville at Davie County. Yeah, I don't live too far from there now, so could be an option. That could be an option. All right. Okay. Everyone wants us to go. This is crazy. I see all your suggestions. I see them. And yeah, if CMS doesn't want to open it up to media, then hey, we'll go anywhere within reason. All right. We're gonna switch gears and we're going to go to the Queen City Senior Bowl roster release. And we're going to go to the Queen City Senior Bowl Twitter page to kind of go through this. So I'm going to share my screen here. Stop that one. And we're going to add this one. Okay, and I'm going to click on these to make them bigger so you don't have to squint your eyes here. Let's try to make that a little bigger there. Okay. All right, so the Queen City Senior Bowl just released their roster for the 7th annual game. And I want to kind of go through these guys and shout them out real quick. So the teams are divided west and east. The west pretty much includes the western half of Mecklenburg County, some parts of Iredell County, and then Gaston and Cleveland counties. So you'll see players from those areas on the west team, and the east team takes the other half of Mecklenburg County, some parts of Iredell County, and then we go with Union, Cabarrus, and Rowan counties this year. So those were the eligible areas. Now we did have a couple kids outside of the eligible areas because we had a little bit of, I guess, space to fit them in because they were talented enough and deserved the spot. So first of all, the West quarterbacks, Chance Cato at Olympic and Land Farmer at Shelby. And those guys have done great, not only this year, but throughout their careers. So they were, more than deserving for sure. The East quarterbacks, I'm going to get that up. Yeah. Zion Haley at Chambers, Noah Lomberry at Sun Valley, two very different kind of players. Zion is a dual threat kind of player. Noah is more of a pocket passer. I think both of these guys, will get a chance to really show what they can do in this kind of game. Both very deserving, and both of them have had success not only through their senior year, but throughout their entire career. And that's a part of this. Some people will wonder why some guys get in and they're not putting up a ton of numbers in their senior year, but it's all about their whole 4-year existence also. So J-Man, I'm coming to you next. The Queen City Senior Bowl West running backs, Garrett Nolan at Charlotte Catholic, Josh Falzerano Jr. at Myers Park, and Jadarius McCombs at Mooresville. All three of these guys were very deserving. You know, when you think about Charlotte Catholic, they run the football, and they got to lean on somebody to do that. And Garrett's been that guy. Josh has had an excellent senior year. Kind of carrying the load for a very talented Myers Park team, and he had a good year last year. And then, of course, J-Man, you guys know him. He's always here. But he's very talented, as we know. He had a really good year last year, and he's had a strong year this year. So, very, very talented group. So John Henry Stewart starting out. Chance and Miss Cato. Good to see you, Miss Cato. I hadn't seen you. I've seen you a little bit on Instagram. I hadn't seen you in a while. It's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Big Eye, come on, man. I'm trying to go through the roster, man. Once I get through this, if we have time, I'll add you. But right now, we're going through the roster. Hang tight. All right. We got the Queen City Senior Bowl East running backs. We got Jaden Jones from the aforementioned Big Eye, DeMonte James, Central Bears, Mason Iovino at Cuthbertson. All three of these guys are the backbones of their offense. All right, Adam, I got you. Hold on, man. I apologize, y'all. Because I don't know what Adam wants to get on about, but I'm going to allow him to do that here in just a second. So y'all bear with me while I work out the technicalities of doing this. Okay. All right. But as I said, these three gentlemen, very talented players, the backbone of their respective teams on the offensive perspective, especially DeMonte and Mason. Those guys are option one and sometimes option 2 and 3 for their guys on offense. And they are really, really talented. So I'm going to send this out. Okay. All right. We'll switch it up and go to the West Side running backs here. Not running backs. Receivers. I'm sorry. I'm getting mixed up. All right. So Trashad Lineberger from Lincolnton, Jelani Leggett from Palisades, Rakim Finch from West Charlotte, Michael Edwards from Crest, Jaden White from Huff. All these guys, showed impressive playmaking ability on film, and their primary options, for their respective teams. They all showed explosion, with the ball in their hands, and they are dynamic playmakers. So you guys shouting these guys out. That's good stuff. Laramie Watson, and then Kim shouting out Rakim. Impressive young man, for sure there. On the east side of things, with the receivers and tight end on the east side, Khalil Price from Mallard Creek, Ryshawn Elmore from Porter Ridge, Brody Hunt from South Iredale, Bryson Simpkins from Monroe, Taquan Gittins from Rocky River, and tight end Gavin Ramirez from Cox Mill. Once again, kind of the same thing here. These guys all show a propensity to make big plays with, very good consistency. And anytime you try to put a roster together for an all-star game, you kind of have to figure out what your base premise is. And I've said this before about the Queen City Senior Bowl. If we wanted to have the best team, you may have 5 and 6 guys from the same team. But if your base is trying to have representation for the best players from everyone that you can, which is what the Queen City Senior Bowl's focus is, then you have a wide spread of talent from everywhere. I will tell you that the Queen City Senior Bowl this year has representation from 57 different schools. That is a record. And that kind of is a testament to all of the talent that is in the Charlotte metro area. I've always used to say that every school has talent. Like there's not one school that doesn't have like zero talent. There's always somebody who can go play and be a really good player. And that's what this bowl game really highlights. And I think these kids right here really exemplify that for sure. On the specialist side of things, we have Andrew Cummings on the west side from Mooresville. Brody Evans from South Meck. He's in as a long snapper, but he's also a very good linebacker. I'm sure he'll play both in this game. Shannon Wingate is an athlete from Maiden, and Zahir Smith, an athlete from Olympic. I'm going to get more specific on these guys at a later time, but these guys can all do some really impressive things on the field. If you think about Zahir Smith specifically, he started out as a Wildcat quarterback this year for Olympic and ran the ball really, really in an impressive fashion. Now that, Olympic's quarterback is back, he's trying to transition to more of a running back role, and he could play some defensive back on defense as well. So the versatility for some of these specialists was very important because all these guys can not only play their primary position, but they can also help out at another spot. And that was really important for the specialist this year on both sides, not only on the West, but on the East as well. Cooper Peterson is a highly regarded kicker and punter prospect from Division I schools. Brent Graham is a long snapper, but he's also the West Rowan quarterback. Zach Cullen has done everything. I think last night he was a running back, a linebacker, and a punter for his team. And then, of course, we all know about James Bailey, running back, receiver, quarterback, defensive back at East Mecklenburg. So versatility was really, really important with the specialists this year. We're going to switch over to the offensive line. We did 8 offensive linemen on each team this year because there was that many good ones. And honestly, we could have went 10 if we had the roster spots, but only having 40 roster spots for each team kind of limited that. But we could have easily went 10 deep on O-line on both sides. That's how many good offensive linemen there were that applied to play in the bowl game. And this was probably one of the harder positions to try to pare down just because of all the talent. For all these guys, they do some really, really impressive stuff on film. And I'm an old offensive line coach, so I really love digging in offensive line film, and it's a lot of fun. And these guys, really earn their spots, and it's the same thing on the west side here. I really enjoyed watching these films. These guys, really good technique, big, strong, come off the football in the run game, move their feet well in pass protection, nasty play into the echo of the whistle. It's good stuff. It is really good stuff, man. Um, Defensive line. Um, It's a really good mix on both groups of the type of defensive lineman. We got some guys that can really get after the quarterback. Jason Eaton at Mountain Island, I believe Coach Dub told me he was second in the state going into this week in sacks. Randrez Lyons is a terror on the interior defensive line. Zytavian Rucker was just named a Petman player last week. Sincere Brewster really gets off the football well for Huff. Jacob Banks is a non-stop motor kind of guy. He can do a lot, not only play D-line, he can help out. He might even play a little bit of tight end for the West, in all honesty. Braylon Daniels, what a guy, 6'5", almost 300 pounds. I think college coaches are going to go crazy when they see him at practice because of the potential that he possesses with that size and athleticism. Let's see here. On the East defensive line, kind of the same thing. It was a good mix of guys here. Tyrell Weatherspoon's a really good interior defensive lineman for Concord. Columbus Stewart is an edge guy. Kenyon Stewart at Butler has really come on, man. He's having a great year. Dominant defensive line. He can play inside or outside. Same thing with Chima Arum. Really good size, 6'4", 270. Dakari Thompson, really good defensive tackle. Jashawn Shepard's an edge guy. Really plays with great technique and athleticism. 3-down guy, in my opinion. Linebackers for the East, really strong group. This was another group that was really, really tough. I mean, very tough to decide on, paring that down. But this group, these guys just flat get after it. Like all of them, nonstop motors, get to the football, great tackling. Like I said, there's 3 or 4 that could have easily been, in these spots. That was very difficult. Really good linebackers this year. I mean, really good on both sides. Really, really good. I think we had a group a couple years ago that was probably on the same level. The West Side linebackers, same thing. Like very strong group. Extremely, extremely difficult to try to parse this group. Because I think every one of these guys is a leading tackler for their team. I've never seen that. I've never seen that in the 7 years of the bowl game. This group was, boy, I tell you, talented, very, very talented group of linebackers on the West there. Defensive backs on the East side, very, very good group here. A good mix of guys who can not only cover, but they can come down and hit, and they can come down and run support, as well as excel in coverage. Like I said, there'll be a lot more to come on this stuff from these guys. But yeah. It's another strong group of guys that can support there in the secondary on the East side. West side, defensive backs, same thing, man. Same thing. I think on the West side, maybe a little more coverage based, but even then, like Miles Smith at Berry is probably the best DB that you don't know. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and he can do everything that you ask of him, whether it's coverage, run support. He can play, maybe in college he might project as an outside linebacker because of his size, but he's got the athleticism to play DB. And That's the kind of thing college coaches really, really like. Marcus Myers just committed to play at Concord University, up in I think West Virginia. Jason Wilkerson, very talented for Huff. He's been in obviously in some high leverage situations and played very well. Josh Hines committed to Charlotte. Very rangy, athletic kid. He also plays basketball. Callaway Williams is a big reason why South Mex having their best season in years at 6-1. He also plays some receiver. Very talented kid. Keenan Early might be the name that you may not be familiar with, but he's very long and athletic. 6'2". You saw what Ashbrook did to Kings Mountain defensively, and he's a big reason of that in the passing game. So another really good group there of defensive backs. So yeah, that's the team. Now, in saying that, let me switch off of this. In saying that, we still have to go through the confirmation process for all these players and see if they're going to play in the bowl game or if they've got aspirations to maybe graduate early and go to college and enroll early, or if they, could be nursing an injury and they don't want to risk it. So every year we go through that process, and there'll be guys that ultimately don't play in the bowl game. When that happens, we do have a list of players that we can pull from, and they can be selected as replacements for these guys. So I know I've gotten some messages already. I haven't had a chance to get to them, but if you were not selected for the bowl game in the initial selection, you still could be selected as a replacement for another player. So, and it happens every year. Trust me, it does. And sometimes it happens closer to the bowl game because, different things happen. Guys get offers and they commit and, decide that they don't want to risk injury. So, they end up not playing. And that's fine. Everyone has the right decision. They have to make the right decision for themselves. So please, if you weren't selected and you feel you're deserving, please don't be discouraged. There's still a chance that you could play in the bowl game. I know how important it is to be recognized for what you do. This is not the only way. We always, all the stuff that we do with Pep Man's players, Prep Red Zone North Carolina, this outlet, all that, are ways to be recognized for being a really good player. And that's our goal, to recognize as many players consistently as we can on a regular basis. So I appreciate everybody watching today on Friday Night Live, the Saturday morning edition, now Saturday afternoon edition. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Appreciate you watching, and I'm going to answer all the messages that I have on my phone. And I don't know where Big Eye is. I thought he was coming on, but I guess he ain't coming on. So I'm sorry. Everybody have a great weekend. See you on Tuesday for Between the Lines at 8 p.m.